I've seen the worst of humanity: war zones, interrogations, and moments where life hung by a thread. But nothing hit me like the day I watched Evelyn Harper snap my mom's white cane in half and laugh at her face. That moment lit a fire in me, a cold, calculated rage I hadn't felt since my days as a CIA field operative. My name's Sarah Mitchell, and until 6 months ago, I was Agent Sarah Mitchell, Special Active VY Ties DVY Shown. For 15 years, I lived in the shadows, dismantling threats the public will never know about. I thought I'd seen cruelty, but this was personal. My mom, Dr. Emily Carter, is a 65-year-old retired literature professor who lost her sight to macular degeneration. She's the kind of woman who could recite Shakespeare by heart and make kids fall in love with books at the local library. After a bad fall broke her hip, I left the agency to come home to Cedar Grove, a quiet town where I hoped she could rebuild her confidence. We moved into a 2-story house in Pinewood Estates, a pristine neighborhood with wide sidewalks and a cozy library nearby where Mom volunteered. It seemed perfect until I met Evelyn Harper. Evelyn, the HOA president, was married to State Senator Richard Harper. With her flawless blonde bob and designer outfits, she was obsessed with control, patrolling Pinewood in her sleek SUV, iPad in hand, ready to slap fines on anyone who dared defy her rules. When I first met her at the mandatory welcome meeting, she sized me up me plain clothes. My unremarkable VY being dismissed me as a nobody. Years of blending into crowds from Cairo to Caracas made that easy. Pinewood has standards, she said, handing me a binder of regulations thicker than a phone book. Trouble started when I added tactile markers to our walkway so Mom could navigate safely. They were subtle, barely noticeable, but the next day, a violation notice arrived. Unapproved exterior alterations. I explained they were for my blind mom. Evelyn's reply: accessibility doesn't trump aesthetics. Over the next few months, the violations piled up. Motion sensor lights to help Mom at dusk, excessive illumination, textured paint on the porch steps, unauthorized finish, wind chimes to orient her in the backyard, noise pollution. I paid the fines without a fight, knowing it'd throw Evelyn off. She loved breaking people who pushed back. Compliance drove her nuts. Meanwhile, Mom became a local hero. 3 times a week, she hosted story time at the library, her voice bringing books to life for kids who adored her. Parents loved her warmth. Kids loved her respect. Everyone loved her except Evelyn. Maybe it was because Mom didn't fawn over Evelyn's perfect lawn or fancy jewelry. Maybe it was because Mom's genuine kindness was something Evelyn couldn't regulate. Whatever it was, Evelyn had it out for her. That Tuesday in May, everything exploded. I was late picking Mom up from the library. Her session ended early, and she decided to walk the 5 blocks home, a route she'd practiced with her cane. What she didn't know was that sidewalk repairs forced her onto a path through Magnolia Park, HOA property. That's where Evelyn found her. I turned on a Pinewood lane just as Evelyn confronted her, jabbing a finger in Mom's face. I was too far to hear, stuck at a red light, my heart pounding. By the time the light changed, I saw it happen. Evelyn grabbed Mom's cane, her lifeline, and snapped it over her knee. The crack echoed. So did her laugh. Now you've got a real reason to miss the rules, she sneered, tossing the pieces at Mom's feet. Mom stood frozen, hands outstretched, panic creeping into her face as she lost her balance. Something cold settled in meth clarity I used to feel before mission. I parked, switched on my phone's recorder, and approached silently. Don't care if you're blind, Evelyn was saying. Your dog crapped on HOA property, and you didn't clean it. Mom's voice stayed steady. I don't have a dog, Mrs. Harper. You've mistaken me. Don't lie. I saw you with one. I was at the library 10 minutes ago. Please, my cane, I need it. Evelyn kicked the broken pieces away. That's when I stepped in. Problem here? I asked. Evelyn's smug grin faded when she saw me. Ms. Mitchell, your mother let a dog defecate on community property. Mom turned toward my voice, relief washing over her. Sarah, I'm here, Mom. I helped her steady herself, then picked up the cane's halves, the break clean and deliberate. Mrs. Harper, I said, voice low, My mom doesn't own a dog. She was reading to kids at the library with witnesses. She's one of 3 blind people in Pinewood. You can't mistake her. Evelyn faltered. It was an accident. The cane broke when I checked it. I held up my phone, snapping photos. My dash cam caught everything. You snapped it on purpose. It was a bluff me car, wasn't angled right, but Evelyn's panic gave her away. You've got nothing, she snapped, recovering. She'll get another cane. As she turned to leave, I called out, does your husband's campaign know you assault disabled people in public? She froze. That's a lie. I've got VY Deo. I lied again. How will voters feel about the senator's wife breaking a blind woman's cane and laughing? Her face reddened. You don't know who you're messing with. Richard's friends run this town. File a complaint, it'll vanish. Post a VY Deo, you'll be sued into obli VY on. I helped Mom to a bench, then faced Evelyn. Mrs. Harper, I think you're the one who doesn't know who they're dealing with. I walked Mom to the car. Leah VYing Evelyn speechless. What's the plan? Mom asked. New cane first, I said lightly. Then we'll give Mrs. Harper some perspective. Mom warned me about Richard's influence, but I wasn't worried. What she didn't know was that I still had connections from my CIA days. That night, I called my old mentor, James Reynolds, now a high-ranking agency official. Sarah, his gruff voice answered. I need a favor, I said. Personal, legal. Just info. I laid out the facts. Evelyn destroyed Mom's mobility aid and threatened to bury complaints with her husband's clout. Not exactly a national security issue, James said. No, but Richard's on the State Appropriations Committee, right? His lifestyle vacation homes, private schools seems big for his salary. James paused. You think he's dirty? Evelyn acts untouchable. That confidence comes from somewhere. He sighed. I'll dig. But be careful, Sarah. You're a CIVY Lien now. Always, I promised. 3 days later, a manila envelope arrived. Inside were financial records, phone logs, and schedules showing Richard's suspicious deposits to offshore accounts after key votes. A note from James read, Treasury's already sniffing. Your move. I had options. Leak to a journalist, hand it to Treasury, or use it to stop Evelyn's tyranny now. Issues action. I called a friend at the local news station and requested an emergency HOA meeting to address discrimination against a disabled resident. That evening, the Pinewood clubhouse was packed. Word of Evelyn's cruelty had spread, and people were furious. Mom was beloved. Evelyn was feared. Evelyn arrived with Richard, his politician's smile plastered on. The meeting began, and Evelyn stood. This is a farce. It was an accident, twisted for personal gain. A voice cut through, like when you accidentally remove my son's basketball hoop during his chemo. It was Lisa Torres, whose kid loved shooting hoops between treatments. The room erupted. Residents shared stories. Diwali decorations cited while Christmas lights stayed up. A wheelchair ramp denied for aesthetics. An elderly man reported to immigration over a fence dispute. Richard's smile faded as the political cost mounted. I stood. I'm Sarah Mitchell. My mom, Dr. Emily Carter, had her cane deliberately broken by Mrs. Harper 3 days ago. I have VY Deo. Evelyn paled. That's a lie. Sure about that? I said. Want to bet your husband's career on it? The room went silent. Evelyn's reaction screamed guilt. Richard jumped in. My wife regrets the misunderstanding. We'll replace the cane. Not good enough, I said. Just like the Treasury's interest in your offshore accounts isn't a misunderstanding, Senator. His face froze. 3 accounts, deposits after contract votes. 5 years. The investigation's rolling. Richard leaned in, whispering blackmail. A chance to get ahead, I said. Resign from the HOA, both of you. Apologize publicly. Focus your campaign on accessibility. And clean up your banking. I stared him down, the same look that had rattled warlords. He blinked first. Turning to the crowd, he announced Evelyn's resignation, apologized to Mom, and spun a new campaign focus on inclusion. It was a slick move, but I saw the self-preservation behind it. A week later, Lisa Torres was elected HOA president, revising rules to prioritize safety. The Harpers listed their house, claiming a downsized campaign focus. Quietly, the Treasury investigation grew. 3 months later, Mom hosted an accessibility day in Magnolia Park, teaching kids to navigate blindfolded. The neighborhood embraced inclusion-textured steps, and lights became standard. I started a security consulting business, my old skills finding new purpose. 6 months after the incident, Richard withdrew his re-election bid, facing imminent charges. Evelyn vanished, rumored to have fled to her sisters in Arizona. Mom never gloated. "It's not about me," she said. "It's about who they chose to be." She was right. Evelyn's cruelty and Richard's corruption were there long before I exposed them. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far, bringing CIA tactics to a suburban fight. But then I hear that Cain's snap, Evelyn's laugh, and see Mom's fear. Some lines can be crossed. Here in Pinewood, justice came not with vengeance, but with truth. What do you think? Was I right to use my past to take down Evelyn and Richard, or did I escalate a neighborhood spat too far? Should people like Evelyn face public shaming or legal consequences, or both? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that'll keep you hooked.